Welcome back to Reclaimed Nature. I want to start this video with a very uncomfortable question. If the grocery stores closed tomorrow and the trucks stopped running, how long would your family stay alive? Most people look at their pantry and realize they have less than 2 weeks of real food. So naturally, they look out the window at their garden and they feel safe. They see green rows of lettuce. They see baskets of cucumbers. They see bright red tomatoes and radishes. But here is the brutal truth that most gardening channels will never tell you. You are growing water. Biologically speaking, a head of lettuce is 95% water wrapped in a little bit of fiber. It is delicious and full of vitamins, but it contains almost zero energy. Let us do the math. To keep a human body functioning in a survival situation, you need roughly 2,000 calories a day. A standard head of lettuce contains about 50 calories. To get your daily survival energy from salad, you would need to eat 40 heads of lettuce every single day. That is 23 pounds of leaves. Your stomach is not big enough to hold that much food. You would starve to death with a full belly. We have been trained to view gardening as a hobby or a health supplement. But when history gets tough, vitamins do not keep the engine running. Calories do. Carbohydrates do. Protein does. If you are serious about survival, you need to stop thinking like a gardener and start thinking like a farmer. You need crops that are dense in energy, crops that cure and harden, crops that can sit on a shelf for 12 months without electricity or refrigeration. Because if your survival plan relies on a freezer, you do not have a plan. You have a liability. Today, I am going to give you the blueprint for the 5 crops I am planting right now. These are not just vegetables. They are the batteries that will power your family through the storm. But I have to warn you, simply planting these crops is not enough. There is a fatal mistake that 90% of new preppers make at the seed store, a mistake that guarantees your garden will fail in the second year. I will reveal exactly what that trap is and how to avoid it at the end of this video. It starts with the backbone of civilization. Crop number 1 is corn. But I need you to listen very carefully because 90% of new gardeners make a fatal mistake right here. Do not go to the hardware store and buy sweet corn seeds. Sweet corn is a modern luxury. It is high in sugar but low in calories, and it has a shelf life of about 5 days before it starts to rot. In a collapse scenario, sweet corn is useless. You need to plant dent corn or flint corn. Look for heirloom varieties like Bloody Butcher or Hopi Blue. These are not for eating fresh off the cob. You leave these ears on the stalk until the kernels are hard as stone. Once dried, you can shell this corn into 5-gallon buckets, and it will stay edible for 10 years or more. When you are hungry, you grind it into flour to make cornbread or grits. This is your long-term carbohydrate supply. But there is a deadly secret about corn that almost no one talks about. It is a piece of lost, ancient technology. If you rely on corn as your main food source without preparing it correctly, you will develop a horrific nutritional deficiency called Pellagra. This disease causes skin rashes, dementia, and eventually death. This happened to the early European settlers because they took the corn from the Native Americans, but they were too arrogant to take the recipe. Corn is high in niacin vitamin B3, but it is chemically locked up inside the kernel. Your body cannot absorb it. To unlock it, you must perform an ancient chemical process called Nixtamalization. This sounds complicated, but it is actually very simple. It involves cooking the dry corn kernels with a little bit of wood ash or pickling lime. This alkaline solution breaks down the hull and releases the vitamins. This is how the Aztecs survived. This is how the Mayans built empires. And if you want your family to survive, you cannot just be a gardener. You have to be a chemist. So step 1 is dent corn. It provides the fuel. But man cannot live on bread alone. You need muscle. If corn is the fuel for your body, then crop number 2 is the repair kit. You need protein. In a collapse scenario, hunting is unreliable, and raising livestock attracts unwanted attention. You need a source of protein that grows quietly in the dirt. You need dry pole beans. I specifically said pole beans, not bush beans. This is where the engineering comes in. You plant the beans right next to the corn stalks. As the corn grows tall, it becomes a natural living trellis. The bean vines wrap around the corn and climb towards the sun. You do not need to buy expensive fencing or cut down trees for poles. The corn holds the beans up, but the real magic happens underground. It is a chemical truce, a perfect symbiosis. Corn is a heavy feeder. It sucks nitrogen out of the soil like a vacuum. If you plant corn alone year after year, it will eventually turn your land into a desert. Beans are different. They are nitrogen fixers. On their roots, live microscopic bacteria that pull nitrogen gas from the air and convert it into fertilizer in the soil. The beans literally feed the corn that supports them. It is a self-sustaining loop that modern agriculture has forgotten. But the most critical reason to grow these two together is nutritional. Corn contains carbohydrates, but it is missing two essential amino acids called lysine and tryptophan. Beans are high in protein, but they are missing other amino acids. Eating them separately is okay, but it's not enough to build muscle. However, when you eat corn and beans together in the same meal, something miraculous happens. Their chemical profiles lock together like puzzle pieces to form a complete protein. This gives your body the exact same nutritional value as eating a steak or a chicken breast. This is how entire civilizations built massive empires without needing huge herds of cattle. Look for heirloom varieties like the Cherokee Trail of Tears or black turtle beans. Harvest them when the pods are brown and crispy. Shell them and store them in glass jars. They will be your meat for the winter. So we have energy and we have muscle. Now we need protection. To complete the Holy Trinity, we need vitamins and we need a defense system. Crop number 3 is winter squash. Please forget about zucchini. Zucchini is a summer squash with a soft skin that rots in a few days. For survival, you need thick-skinned tanks like Waltham butternut or the giant blue Hubbard. You plant these around the base of your corn. Their massive leaves shade the ground, keeping the soil moist and choking out weeds so you don't have to waste calories pulling them. Plus, their stems are covered in sharp spines that act like barbed wire, protecting your corn and beans from raccoons. But the true value of winter squash lies in its skin. When you harvest winter squash, you cannot just throw it in the pantry. You must cure it first. To do this, leave the squash in a warm, dry place with good airflow for 2 weeks. This triggers a biological reaction that hardens the skin until it feels like wood. This is nature's version of biopreservation technology. Once cured, that wooden armor seals in the moisture and blocks out bacteria. A properly cured blue Hubbard squash can sit under your bed at room temperature for 12 months without rotting. It becomes a biological vitamin capsule waiting for you in the dead of winter when fresh food is impossible to find. So the 3 sisters give you energy, muscle, and health above ground. But what if a storm destroys them? What if a hailstorm flattens your corn? You need a backup plan hidden in the earth. That hidden plan starts with crop number 4, the sweet potato. Notice I did not say the regular white potato. While I love white potatoes, they have a major weakness in a grid-down scenario. They require a cold, dark root cellar to keep them from sprouting or rotting. If you live in a hot climate or a modern house without a cellar keeping them fresh is a nightmare. Sweet potatoes are different. They are tropical tanks that actually prefer the heat. This crop is your underground bunker. While pests and storms might ravage what is above the surface, the sweet potato expands silently in the dark. After you harvest them, you cure them in a warm room, and they can be stored in a simple cardboard box in your closet for 6 to 9 months. No electricity required. But the real survival hack is how they reproduce. You never need to buy seeds. In the spring, you take 1 single sweet potato from your pantry and place it in water. It will sprout green shoots called slips. 1 potato can produce 50 slips. That means 1 potato gives you 50 new plants. It is an exponential food generator. Plus, unlike regular potatoes, you can eat the leaves like spinach all summer long while you wait for the tubers to grow. However, even the sweet potato requires some care. What happens if you are injured and cannot tend the garden? What happens if you have to abandon your home for a month? You need a crop that thrives on neglect. You need a crop that refuses to die. Crop number 5 is the ultimate insurance policy. The Jerusalem artichoke, also known as the sunchoke. This is a native North American plant related to the sunflower. It produces hundreds of tubers underground that look like ginger but taste like a cross between a potato and an artichoke heart. I call this the zombie plant because it is basically unkillable. You plant it once and it comes back every single year forever. It survives drought. It survives floods. It survives pests. It survives you. Many gardeners hate it because it spreads. They call it a weed. They try to dig it up, but if you leave even a tiny piece of tuber in the ground, it regenerates. In peacetime, this is annoying. In a collapse, this is a miracle. It is a calorie source that behaves like an invading army. It requires 0 planting, 0 watering, and 0 care. It is a perennial food supply that you can ignore until you are starving. But I must give you a critical warning. Sunchokes contain a type of carbohydrate called inulin. If your stomach is not used to it, eating them can cause severe pain and gas. The secret, the lost knowledge, is to wait until after a hard freeze to harvest them or to ferment them like sauerkraut. This breaks down the inulin and makes them safe to digest. Why grow them if they are tricky? Because if the locusts come, if the drought kills your corn, if the blight rots your potatoes, the sunchoke will still be there waiting for you under the frozen ground. It is the food of last resort, and it never surrenders. With sweet potatoes and sunchokes, you have built an underground calorie bunker that no one knows about but you. So you have the blueprint. 5 crops, infinite calories, total independence. But remember that trap I warned you about at the beginning? It is hiding in the seed packet itself. Most seeds sold today are F1 hybrids. They are designed to be a genetic dead end. If you save their seeds and plant them next year, they will fail. This forces you to go back to the store every spring. It is a system designed to make you rent your food supply. In a crisis, you cannot rent. You must own. The solution is simple. Always buy heirloom or open-pollinated seeds. These are the original codes of nature. When you plant heirloom corn or beans, you can save the seeds from your best harvest, replant them next year, and they will grow true forever. One purchase lasts for generations. You never have to spend another dime. This is how you break the chain of dependency. Now the choice is yours. You can keep growing water, or you can start growing a future. If you found value in this blueprint, share it with a neighbor. We are stronger when we grow together. Hit the like button if you believe food is freedom and subscribe to keep uncovering the forgotten ways. And finally, tell us in the comments, which crop are you planting first? The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now.